The rain had not yet dried on the pavement when a poor single father, exhausted from another day of barely surviving, made a split-second choice that would pull him out of the shadows of poverty and thrust his life into a destiny he never imagined. Blood, sirens, and fear filled the air as he knelt beside an injured female police officer, not knowing that this moment of selfless courage would become the turning point that rewrote his future forever. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that one good deed can change a life, please take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to our channel Grandma Dearie. Your support helps us bring more real heart-touching stories like this to life. He was a poor single dad in his mid-30s, worn down by years of struggle, raising his young child alone after life had taken everything else from him. His mornings began before sunrise. His nights ended long after exhaustion had settled into his bones. Rent was always late, meals were often simple and small, and the fear of losing what little stability he had never left his chest. Yet, despite the hardship, his heart remained gentle, shaped by responsibility and love for the one soul who depended on him. That evening, he had been walking home after a long shift of manual work, his body aching, his thoughts heavy, when chaos erupted just steps away from him. A female police officer lay on the cold ground near a parked car, her uniform torn, her leg badly injured after a sudden roadside incident. People slowed down, some stared, some whispered, but few dared to step close. Fear and hesitation hung thick in the air. The single father did not think about consequences, money, or time. He dropped to his knees without hesitation, using his worn jacket to apply pressure, steadying her, shielding her from the cold pavement. His hands shook, not from fear but from urgency. He stayed with her, alert and focused, until help arrived, ignoring the pain in his own knees and the weight of his empty stomach. He disappeared quietly once she was taken away, believing the moment would end there, just another silent act of decency swallowed by the world. But life was already shifting behind the scenes. Hours later, as night settled and he returned to his small, dimly lit home, the weight of his reality came crashing back. Bills lay untouched, the refrigerator barely held enough food for the next day, and his child slept peacefully, unaware of how fragile their world truly was. He sat on the edge of his bed, wondering how long he could keep holding everything together. What he did not know was that the woman he had saved was not just any officer. She was respected, well known in her department, and deeply moved by the man who had stayed when others walked away. By morning, his name had quietly traveled through conversations he would never hear. Security footage, witness accounts, and the officer's own words painted a picture of a man defined not by wealth or status, but by courage and humanity. When authorities reached out to him, he assumed it was trouble. Years of struggling had trained him to expect the worst. Instead, he found himself standing in a place he had never belonged before, surrounded by people who saw him not as a poor laborer, but as a hero who had acted without expecting anything in return. The days that followed felt unreal. Support began to arrive in ways he never thought possible. Medical costs he feared would haunt him did not exist. His act of bravery was acknowledged publicly, and with that recognition came opportunities that once seemed impossible. A stable job offer emerged through unexpected connections, one that promised security instead of survival. For the first time in years, he could plan beyond tomorrow. For the first time, he could breathe. Yet the greatest change was not financial. It was the way his child looked at him, sensing the shift, feeling the safety that had been missing for so long. It was the way he stood taller, no longer crushed by shame or invisibility. He realized that his life had not changed because he saved a cop, but because he had chosen compassion when the world taught him to look away. The officer he helped eventually recovered, and though their paths crossed only briefly again, The gratitude in her eyes confirmed what he had begun to understand himself. Kindness carries weight. It echoes far beyond the moment it is given. As time passed, his story continued to inspire others quietly, not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. A reminder that heroes do not always wear uniforms or stand on stages. Sometimes they walk home tired, worried, and unseen, until one moment reveals who they truly are. His life, once trapped in a cycle of fear and lack, moved forward with dignity, hope, and a future he could finally believe in. If this story touched your heart even a little, if it reminded you that humanity still exists in small, powerful acts, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to Grandma Dearie, so we can continue sharing stories that matter. Before this story ends, we have one special request for you. Please comment below and tell us if you believe one good deed can truly change a life, or share what this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. The poor single dad never set out to change his destiny that night. He simply chose to help, and in doing so, he proved that even in the darkest circumstances, the smallest act of kindness can open doors to a future filled with light.